If you're like me, you probably like to cut things, but you may not like to clean things all the time. Well, in today's episode of Knife AQ, episode 213 of the series where I answer all your questions sharp or dull, we're going to look at a few knives that are probably the best you can get if you really don't like cleaning knives when they're dirty. All right, everyone, welcome to the series. I am David C. Anderson. That's Thomas behind the camera as usual. And what we do is we take your questions and we take them from the comments section below these videos. So if you got a question, you know where to leave it. I hope you can infer from what I just said where you need to leave it.
It's in the comment section.
It might be. The first question today comes from
Bonus points if David can't pronounce your name.
I'm gonna conjecture that the TH here is a T rather than a Th sound. Talis Castellani. Which are the best pocket knives to skin and process game without having to dismantle for cleaning afterwards? Basically the lazy hunter's pocket knife. Which would be the best parts, pivot scales, mechanisms, etc. for such a task? All right. This is where I obligatorily say the choice for the job here would be a fixed blade that's easy to clean out, and there are pocket fixed blades out there. With a Kydex sheath is probably what you would want in this case, but that would be a pocket knife, but I think you're asking for a folder right here. So what I would do if I were to find myself in the same situation is I would clean my knife, actually, but no, sorry, throwing a little shade, no harm intended. The best thing you would probably want to look for, I would say, is a frame locking knife with open-backed construction, no fancy scales or anything to get in the way, and washers in the pivot rather than ball bearings. And that's going to be a little bit harder to find nowadays. The poster child for such a thing would be like a Chris Reeve Sebenza or an Nkosi like this, but this is a rather expensive knife. And for someone who just wants a lazy pocket knife that they're not going to have to worry about cleaning and such, this is probably not the right answer because it is so expensive. But this has some things that would work well. Like get rid of the lanyard fob here for this particular instance, but the open back construction and the frame lock here all being exposed the way they are makes it very easy to rinse out. And the washers are get dirty less or are harder to get dirty and gummed up than ball bearings would be. That's just the poster boy. Instead of the $650 Nkosi, maybe something like this. This is the K-Bar Jesse Jarraj 7509 flipper. It's normally priced about 45 bucks. And right now we've got it on sale actually at the time we're filming this for just over 40. 3.5-inch blade, Aus 8 steel, good stainless stuff. And the blade here has plenty of belly for skinning and slicing and a really nice hollow grind, keeping the edge itself very thin. And a hollow grind is kind of, classic hunting knife vocabulary. That's, many hunting knives are hollow ground because they are so thin, or can be kept so thin behind the edge, and that works nicely for the delicate skinning tasks and such. You have a stainless steel frame lock here, open backed construction, and Desert Tan G10 for the handle scales, and Teflon synthetic washers here as opposed to brass or something like that. But it's still going to do the job for what you need in this instance. Really nice slicey profile overall. The blade itself bears a little bit of resemblance to like the Canadian belt knife, a classic hunting knife pattern. The lockup is secure, the flipping is quite nice, and the price is also quite nice, even at the full $45 price point nowadays. Could check that out. Even better, I'm gonna direct you towards CRKT for, like if you absolutely don't wanna have anything to do with taking apart the knife, that would have been the knife. But if you could do just a little bit, check out the Bonafide from CRKT. It's a Ken Onion design, and it features their second generation field strip technology, which makes it easy to take apart quickly, easily, and without any tools. It's going to be quick enough, I think, that you're going to be fine rinsing it out without feeling like you're doing too much. Let me demonstrate. Here's the knife. It's about 70 bucks right here. pivot this switch up, push it forward, and then it comes apart into three peas
In a pod.
in a pod, 3 pieces, quick as you please. That's what I was trying to say. Very easy to rinse out. Yes, it's a liner lock as opposed to a frame lock, and there is the potential for that to get a little more gummed up potentially, but because you can take everything apart so easily, it's a lot more effective to wash out the insides essentially. And then it's the same thing in reverse to put it back together, super simply. Fit it together, pop the switch, and you're ready to go. There you go. Again, just about a 3.5-inch blade, 3.58 actually in this case. Nice, similar profile actually to the K-bar, maybe with slightly less belly, but still nice and slicey. Not a hollow grind, but D2 steel, kind of a classic hunting knife steel, quite honestly. I wonder who we can blame for that. Maybe Bob Dozier is more responsible for that than anyone with his hunting knives and D2. I don't know. Aluminum handles, pocket clip, liner lock, flipper. This could do quite well also. So this is like the ultimate lazy hunter's pocket knife. This is the slightly more motivated hunter's pocket knife. We'll go with that. Check those out. Whether you're hunting or not, if you really don't like cleaning things out, those should be a good option for you. Anyway.
Or a fixed blade.
Dun, 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 dun. Now we come to our measured once, cut twice segment today, where we take a second slice at a previous question. This was in reply to the question that was asked a couple weeks ago for someone who wanted to get a knife for their fiance who liked to get their nails done a lot. What type of knife would I recommend? And I clarified, as I'm not one who does anything fancy with my nails, clearly. Button lock flippers.
Being slightly larger than average hands, they cost more.
Good thing they probably don't charge by the square centimeter. I don't know. Couldn't tell you whether they did or not. Button lock flippers, or button locks actually in general, doesn't necessarily have to be a flipper, as a good mechanism to be able to keep the nails out of the way and still work. And we had a reply from an actual girl, an actual lady. Frequent commenter, actually. We've featured her before, BML Jenny. Regarding the fiance knife, button lock is a good idea for the nails, but I would also suggest looking for something with a secondary safety if it's likely she's going to carry it in her purse. Maybe something like the Riot PLXT. The added thickness, this is kind of a chunkier knife, wouldn't be as much of a problem in a purse versus a pocket. It comes in a nice jade handle too. If fiance is going for pocket carry, then never mind. Cool suggestion there. I'm glad to see I was more or less on the right track. But yeah, the PLXT is a cool little knife. It's about $112, 3-inch Nitro V blade. It's technically not a button lock. It is they call it a pivot lock, I believe. Instead of a button on the side of the scale, you actually push down on the pivot, but it functions or operates rather the same way a button lock would be. You'd be able to keep any long nails out of the way while you're doing it, and secondary safety that works in both the open and the closed position. Actually, it doesn't work in the closed position.
Retract that.
I will retract that. Jenny, do your homework a little better. I'm sorry. Well, darn. Maybe we'll stretch this out into a third week where I find something that button locks and does have a closed functioning.
I'm not making a new graphic for measured thrice.
Well, keeping that in the backs of our minds, I'll also show the PL6 from Riot, recently released, also available in some spicier colors like the Ultim right here, $132, bigger, 3.5-inch Nitro V, same mechanism. And if this one works in the closed position, that would have been really funny, but it does not. They call it a front flipper on the website, but it's actually more of a rear top flipper than anything. But you don't have to use the flipper tab at all. You just push on the button. All right, we measured once, cut thrice, but you can use the same graphic, I guess, if you want, or if you
We'll just play it twice.
find something better. Jenny, I appreciate your comment. I really did, and I should have tested it to make sure before we did it on camera. But because I want to just leave it in, we're just going to leave it in anyway. Thank you, everyone, for your comments on that, and Jenny especially. Well, now we're going to come to our Damyr's Buried Treasure segment, where thanks to his question several weeks ago, we're going through the alphabet this time, the second time around. We're showing stuff that's never been seen on the channel before. Today we're on the letter F, and I want to talk about Fenix flashlights. Well, I've always pronounced it Fenix. I know some people pronounced it Fenix or something else. I don't know which is more correct, but Fenix feels better, so I'm going to keep saying Fenix.
See how it feels.
So you see how it feels?
Feels.
Fennel's good. Fennel's useful stuff. I will start by showing this right here, which technically this has been seen before, but only like extremely briefly. This is the LR60R. It is a monster of a light. $420, maximum of 21,000 lumens. And it is our glow-in-the-dark test light here in the studio. This is the part where we say strobe warning or like bright light warning. It's a monster. It's got digital readout. You've got both spot and area flood functionality. It's got a tripod mount right here for keeping it hands-free. One up here too, actually. A few different areas you can go. It's USB-C rechargeable. You can charge your phone off of it as well. So it's a cool light to have around in event of a blackout, especially because it can pull kind of double duty there in many cases. And the cool thing too, it'll actually tell you how much runtime you've got. For instance, at the 2000 lumen flood, it'll run for about 4 hours. And that's the lowest flood setting. At the 50 lumen spot setting, which is the lowest, about 96 hours. Let's see how the brightest, where it combines everything, 1 hour and 25 minutes. That's actually impressive for that amount of luminosity or luminage. You have seen that briefly before, but let me show a couple that you have not yet, or that we have not shown. So this is the E06R, an EDC rectangular flashlight, about 56 bucks. It goes 700 lumens is the brightest it'll run. That'll run for about 1 hour and 20 minutes there. Lowest is 5 lumens for about 60 hours. And you hold or press and hold to get to the light, and you cycle through, and it'll remember the last level you left off on. Does double click do anything? Oh yeah, the double click brings up the rainbow wheel right there, and you can do just a simple press and get the green up. Actually, can you change the color on that? Not sure if you can or not, but I don't really care. So, sorry folks. It also has a UV light. Access it there from the side, which can be handy for checking currency, checking the cleanliness of things, for travel considerations. And it's got a red laser, which is pretty cool. And very nice for an EDC light as well. It's got a pocket clip that is set up in such a way you could clip it to a hat brim if you want to use it hands-free and you have a hat brim handy. That is a cool thing, and USB-C rechargeable, as you can see. Nice aluminum construction on this too. It feels really, really durable. It seems to be made out of a single piece, like a single shell of aluminum. I don't see seams anywhere, so that should mean that it is quite durable. All right, because I should have just done this the first time around. Let me turn this back off. When you are in this breathing light mode, you can single click, bring up red, bring up blue, bring up blinky red, and then back to the rainbowness right there. And nothing when it's opened up into the green. There you go, now it's off. So it'll do a few other little things right there. Last but not least, the HL45R and headlamp right here, and headlamp. $80 for this with 1,000 max lumens. A couple different modes, but the coolest thing about it, in my opinion, is it's got a focusable LED. So if I turn it on here, let's make sure it's not super bright so we're not blinding the little camera over there. You can twist, there you go, this from area flood to spotlight mode. So if you're working around camp, you just need an area light, you're good to go. If you're walking down a trail or any other wider open space, you have to just turn off. I might need to charge it. It's been, oh, there it goes. Weird. You can have the spotlight headed down where you're walking to, which is nice. And as you can see, it's got the different brightness levels. It's also got a red light mode, and it is also USB-C rechargeable. Cool thing about accessing the different modes right here, you can go to the white and then to the red, but if you're just going from all the off position all the way to the red, it doesn't flicker the white light on. Just like a hint of delay in the UI, which makes that pretty nice, pretty easy. It comes with a proprietary battery cartridge there on the inside, which, as mentioned, is USB-C rechargeable, and it's all contained in the front there. So when you have it on your head, there's no like wires going to a battery pack on the back. I like that. I don't usually like battery packs on the back personally, so. Only a few of the Fenix lights we carry. Make sure to check them out. The link below. Now we come to the lightning round. One question for today from Smitty McSmitty.
Oh, that's Smitty.
Hey DC, I'm looking for a folding fishing knife that is corrosion resistant but does not break the bank, which for Smitty McSmitty means $150 or less, in the off chance I lose it in the water. The blade would preferably be thin and pointy so that I'm able to dispatch and clean the fish easily while still being able to cut rope and fishing line. Thanks for any help you can provide. So one of our mantras here at Knife Center is Mora over really anything. Secondary to that, we need to find an acronym for Spyderco's Salt series, because there's so many times where a question's asked where it's like the salt, pick the appropriate knife in the Salt series, and that's what you want to get. The Salt series means the blades are super stainless, as well as all the internals of the hand and the handles themselves designed to be as stain proof as possible. And there's two that would work for you, I think, under your price range. The Stretch 2XL lightweight Salt, $140 for this. You got a 4-inch blade, nice and pointy. H2 steel is corrosion proof, essentially. Like it is virtually impossible for it to stain. You've got a hollow grind on this, so overall it's not the thinnest geometry overall, but it is nice and pointy. The other option would be the Pacific Salt 2. It's a little more blunted on the tip, but still, I think, pokey enough. And with a full flat grind and slightly thinner steel, no, same thickness on the steel. Full flat grind, it is going to be slicier. And the steel here is, I like it even better, LC200N. It is, if H2 is theoretically 100% stain proof, this is like 99.5 or 99 point something % stain proof. Really awesome stuff. It is super tough, holds an edge pretty well, and as mentioned, is quite stainless. The colors are easy, on either of these are easy to see underwater as well. They're nice and light, and they both fall under your price range as well. This one's about $145. Check those out.
Salt avoids looking tarnished.
It's not bad. We'll work on it though. Like Salt always likes to play. I don't know. Salt. I don't know. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. If you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments, however. Now we come to our final question of the day, which is, of course, our most seriousest question of the day, which is coming from Crisco6583. What is the best knife for cutting lima beans? Well, another word for lima bean is the butter bean, of course, which I don't know why they call it that, because butter is delicious, but lima beans, I've never come around to them. And you all in the comments keep trying to give me a hard time about that. But given the butter bean name, and given that I'm being a little baby about not wanting to eat lima beans, how about the baby butter bean from Case Knives? Few different variations, or a few different handle options that you could get on it. This one's about $74 with the blue Kieranite, blue pearl. It's essentially a small canoe style knife with two blades, both of them drop points. Well, you've got kind of a drop point, and I might want to call the other one a pen blade. Just a nice, small, easy to carry classic slip joint. And it's the baby butter bean. There you go. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. And that's all the answers I've got for you today, folks. Keep your questions coming. Keep them in the comments below. Give me your most serious questions as well. And to get your hands on any of these knives, links are in the description that will take you to KnifeCenter.com. Where don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can earn some free money to spend on your future knives. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we are signing off for now. See you next time.
So if lima bean is butter bean, what's a Crisco bean?
Butterball?